Back in the 80s, there were few things I loved more than Rubik's Cubes and writing code on computers. I still have my school exercise book from 1981. And as well as what seems to be a piece of fan fiction here about Spider-Man, I also have my news from September the 2nd, 1981, in which I said, "When we came home from Shoreham, I got a Rubik's Cube. First I did the green side, and now I've done the yellow, and I've nearly got the whites except for one piece." It would take me about another 30 years before I'd learned to solve the whole thing. The cube I had back then was just like this one. It wasn't exactly this one, because I have no idea where that one ended up, but it came in a box just like this, and it had this same colour pattern where you have white opposite blue. So just imagine how delighted my 7-year-old self would have been if he'd seen these magazines. If you were into computers in the 80s, you may remember the proliferation of magazines which, among other computery things, provided great long swathes of code for you to type in yourself. I spent many happy hours doing this, usually to create games, instead of having to pay for professional games. And I recently found these two magazines from the early 80s, which included code for Rubik's Cube simulators. So this one from February 1982 is Your Computer, and it has a nice colour image on the front cover. And inside it's not so colourful, but in here we have an article alongside some code for the ZX81. The ZX81, if you don't remember, it was the computer from Sir Clive Sinclair that came before his legendary ZX Spectrum. The Spectrum had 48K of RAM, 48 kilobytes, and the ZX81 had just 1K, 1000 bytes. So writing any kind of program for it was a challenge, and this one seems like it must have come pretty close to the 1K limit given how long it was. Now my copy, as you can see, has been annotated by somebody who found some errors, I guess, in the original code. And I love seeing that because it proves that at least one person actually typed this program into their ZX81 and, well, presumably got it working. The other magazine I found had this incredibly modern looking cover, considering it was from just a month before the other magazine. This was from January 1982. And the Rubik's Cube imagery this time is, well, much more subtle. And if you ask me, it's rather beautiful. So this magazine has two cubing simulators inside it. One of them had color graphics, which was designed for the Apple II versions of BASIC. And the second one, a much simpler text-based program, was designed to run on lots of different flavors of BASIC. In fact, they didn't just provide it in BASIC, they also provided a Z80 assembly language version of the code. And the idea of typing that one in rather blows my mind. But the BASIC version was a bit less daunting, so I downloaded a BASIC interpreter and got typing. It required a bunch of changes to get it to work with the version of BASIC I used, but in the end it wasn't really too hard to get it working, and here it is. So here we can see the unfolded net of the cube, with the colours indicated by the initial letters, with U for upperface, D for downface, and so on. And it's worth noting, by the way, that those abbreviations are the ones that cubers still use today. So now we can enter a command. We can use an uppercase letter for clockwise turn and a lowercase letter for anti-clockwise. Once we've entered it, the simulation will show us the new state of the cube. It's slow going using this, and I can't imagine what trying to solve a scrambled cube on this simulator would be like, but it's possible in theory. So let's see what happens if I enter a common algorithm. There we go. So that's the Soon algorithm, or Sune as you may know it. I wanted to end by just reading a little from the article that came with this program, because I found it rather delightful. I particularly like the idea that the program is designed to reduce the risk of thumb joint injury. So what does it say in this article? It says, Rubik's Cube, also known as the Magic Cube and a number of less complimentary names by numerous harried puzzle fans, is the current intellectual puzzle rage. The puzzle is especially intriguing to mathematics, engineering and science buffs for a number of reasons. Mechanically, it does things that at first glance would seem impossible, even to many experienced mechanical engineers. Mathematically, it is fascinating, having the ability to be arranged and rearranged into 2 to the 27 times 3 to the 14 times 5 to the 3 times 7 to the 2 times 11 configurations, more than 4.3 times 10 to the 19 permutations. Cube solvers around the world known as cubists have become so enthralled with Rubik's Cube that it now occupies much of the spare time of literally millions of Earth's citizens. So popular and so intriguing is it that it has received attention on page 1 of the Wall Street Journal and the front cover of Scientific American. Yes, and no wonder I was excited to get my cube back in 1981. I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of nostalgia. If you want to find out more about Rubik's Cubes, check out this video or this video. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.